We now come on to step 6, which is promotion. And this is one of the sections that I love the most. It's the one that I get most excited about because there are so many ways to promote out there. There are so many ways that you can also get confused by it as well. But promotion to me is the real key thing. And I use my ATC model there, my air traffic control model in terms of this, about attracting people in, turning it into traffic, which then you can convert. So again, I'm going to be sharing a little bit about that with you as well. But I'm going to look at the 4 key areas that are here. And to me, it's really exciting that we look at these 4 key areas, and I'm going to look at them in a little bit of detail. So my 4 areas are my helipad, where people are going to land. Also then looking at your owned data, your earned data, and then partners. There are lots of others, but in terms of the 4 key areas that I'm going to be looking at, and I'm going to really drill down on what they are, how do they work, and actually so many different areas that are available to you to promote. So let's really delve into the detail. Okay, so let's look at the helipad that I spoke about. So the helipad is, somewhere that's really clear. If you think of a helipad, it's got a big H on it, and you know that you can land the helicopter on there. And it's so important that you can see that from a long way off so that you know where you're landing. So when you think about promotion and you're promoting your business, you're trying to pull people in, so you're attracting people. But if you haven't got somewhere for them to land, what's the use of attracting them? And that's why I talk about the sort of air traffic control model. So you need to think about that landing pad. Now, in terms of the landing pad, today there are so many different landing pads, and they could be a landing page, it could be a website, it could be this whole omni-channel. And the omni-channel is about having helipads for each different way that people want to land with you. Now, in terms of that, some people will purely use LinkedIn as that way to come into you. Others will use Facebook, they'll use Twitter, they'll use Instagram, they'll use Pinterest, they'll use Snapchat, they'll use TikTok. There are so many different social media channels to you. But ultimately, you need to make sure you've got a helipad for all of those, and that actually works for them as much as it does for you. So think about landing with you. Are you geared up? When you attract somebody and you pull them in, are you geared up to react? Are you able to go straight away? And particularly when you talk about e-commerce, how easy do you make it for somebody to do a transactional sale and buy something with you? And the same with your goods, products and services. When you're looking at services or you're looking at solutions, how easy is it to start the whole process off? So how easy is it for you to start that whole process off? When we move forward then into things like owned data or earned data, and the way that that works is a number of us will actually have data that we hold. And I'm not getting into the whole GDPR element, I'm just talking about data that you'll have. So you'll have contacts, you'll have colleagues, you'll have existing customers, you'll have past customers, you'll have lots of data, and you own that data. So you own that data. So what are you going to do with that in terms of promotion? So you can look at email marketing, you can look at sending videos out. There's so much you can do, and again we will look at that in a moment. The other side that we're looking at then is earned data, so earned media or earned data. And when we look at that, that's actually where you spent to get something. And that could be spending money on getting followers to a page. It could be spending time and effort to get connections on your LinkedIn. Wherever you've had to spend to get something, then you've actually earned that data, you've earned those emails, whatever it is, you've actually gone out and spent it. But that's another pool for you to look at. And then you can start to look at the whole area of partners. Can you partner up with people? So when I start to look at this, it's about being really out there, promote, and then promote. And you can promote yourself today through social media channels for free, apart from the investment in your time. And if you're going to invest time, make sure you're out there with decent imagery, you've got clear messages, you've got good content, you're also sharing a little bit about you, you've got your personal brand right, you've actually got your other side right as well in terms of your whole branding of your company if it's a company name, and you've got all of those elements working correctly, and make sure they work correctly. And really key in terms of that is making sure that you can drive your message through, that you can attract people in, and that's massively important. So when you're promoting, you need to understand that you need to be doing a high level of frequency. And lots of people go, well, what is frequency? Frequency is also about consistency. So it's about the volume of posts and stuff you do versus the consistency with that. So if you're only doing 2 posts a week, but you do them consistently, then well done. But actually you should be looking to increase that frequency hugely, because you're trying to capture people. Now sometimes people are saying, oh, you can post too many times. I get that and I understand that, but I also think as well in terms of that is you need to be out there, you need to be getting hold of people. And when you're out there getting hold of people, you need to be knowing that people change the times that they're found on social media or on LinkedIn or wherever. They change their times. So you just need the frequency to go out there. And also in terms of that frequency, start to think a little bit bigger in your thoughts about your company or you or whatever you do. Think of those kind of models. Now I think about McDonald's in that particular case is when you think about McDonald's have got the big yellow M, of course they have, but they have their branding everywhere. They advertise close to their stores, so they'll be using leaflets, they'll be using advertising on billboards, they'll of course be using TV and a radio, but from a local perspective they'll be doing a lot of advertising. They'll also have an offer on the back of a receipt from say a local newsagents or a local supermarkets. It'll say, oh, here's a discount. So in terms of that, McDonald's are out there all of the time, and again from their social media they are constantly out there with their message. Now regardless of what that message is, and if you're into food, not into food, from a model about frequency they are huge with it. Now of course, you know, many of us won't have the budget of McDonald's, but we can have the same mentality about the frequency and the things that we put out there. And remember when I spoke about people in that particular step, is we can outsource elements to other people as well. We can get them to do some of the doing, but it's getting the frequency there. And the frequency can come as well. You can use scheduling tools. You can be really active out there. Keep driving your message out there each and every time. Use email marketing. It's an amazing tool to use, and for me, I love email marketing, and I love it when you get unsubscribes, because they are not a prospect. They've gone. You're not interested. They're not there for what's there. So get your data up there and start to promote. There's nothing stopping you doing video. There's nothing stopping you writing. There's nothing stopping you getting good photography. And there's nothing stopping you liking, sharing people's posts across social media. And there's definitely nothing stopping you sending out regular emails to people. If people unsubscribe or don't like it, they either know where you are and they'll come and find you when they are, or they're just not a prospect. So promote, promote, promote. And a lot of the time you'll go, oh, but people complain about this and complain about that. They're not the right people. So when you get those people that go, oh, why do you do that and why are you doing this? They're not the right people. They're not your customer base. They're not your prospects. So just ignore that and get the frequency out there. And that's even for me within our businesses. We have a really good level of frequency. And yes, we've got a team that produces that, of course we do, but we produce it for many of our other clients. But it's all about frequency, and I talk about my 120 rule, 120 pieces of sales activity every single day. It could be 40 telephone calls, it could be 50 emails, it could be 20 connection requests, it could be a number of things, but you need to be doing 120 sales type things every single day. And lots of people go, you can't do that. And I go, well, actually, if I look back in my career and I look at back what I do now, I'm all about that. And I've always been about that when I've been picking up the telephone from my early days. If I make 120 telephone calls a day, I knew what that would be bringing out, and I know what that will bring out for me today. So for me, it's that 120 rule. Get out there doing it. Promote, promote, promote. Look at every single element that's open to you that's free, and then you can start to test other areas that work. So you could look at Google ads, you could look at Facebook ads as well, but don't ignore some of the other elements of search engine optimization and SEO, and there's a huge science behind that. But one of the key things you can start to think about is, what would people put into Google to try and find my service? Not find me, find my service. And think about things like keywords. If someone was looking for what you think they would put into Google, do you have those words and phrases in your website and in your messaging? So think about that in terms of that whole promotion. I've got lots of other courses on promotion. I've got ATC, I've got FAB, I've got a whole array of things for you to go and look at. But I hope you just start to think about, where can I promote, and start to increase the frequency of what you do. But most of all, when you're promoting, reach out to that person.